For factories all over the world, there's this huge, expensive, and really wet problem they have to deal with every single day: industrial waste. But what if you could take that soggy mountain of trash and turn it into something useful, something compact? Well, today we're going to look at a machine that was built to do exactly that.
Yeah, take a look at this. This is the reality for so many industrial plants. We're talking about literal tons of waterlogged waste that's a total pain to handle, costs a fortune to get rid of, and is just a constant logistical nightmare. The sheer scale of it is just mind-boggling.
And look, this isn't just about it being messy. This is all about the bottom line. All that water makes it incredibly heavy, which drives up disposal costs like crazy. The sheer volume eats up valuable space. It's just a total killer for efficiency, a constant drain on money and resources that companies have to fight every single day.
Okay, so when you're up against a problem this huge, you need a solution that's just as powerful. And the engineers who built this thing, well, they gave it a nickname that pretty much tells you everything you need to know.
And I'm not making that up. That's a direct quote. They call it the waste handling assassin. How cool is that? It's bold, it's confident, and it perfectly sets the stage for a machine designed to do one thing: just completely and totally eliminate the waste problem.
All right, here it is, the machine itself, the Rotec Vietnam Horizontal Hydraulic Dewatering Compactor, model RTP286030HB. And wow, this thing is a beast, engineered from the ground up to tackle the absolute toughest waste challenges out there.
Okay, so how does this waste assassin actually do its thing? How does it take that soggy pile of junk and turn it into something completely different? Let's break down the whole transformation step by step.
It's actually a pretty straightforward but super powerful 4-step process. So first, you dump the wet waste in. Then, this massive hydraulic ram pushes forward and just squeezes everything with incredible force. As it compresses, all the water is pushed out through these special grates. And finally, what pops out the other end is this dense, compacted, and almost dry block of material.
Okay, so that's the how, but what about the what? The results from this process are, well, they're seriously impressive. We're not talking about a small improvement here. This is a total game changer.
And this number right here, this is really the heart of it. The machine gets rid of 40 to 45% of the moisture. Just think about that for a second. It's pulling out nearly half the water weight, and that water is usually what makes disposal so ridiculously expensive.
And it's not slow either, not by a long shot. This machine can chew through up to 2.5 tons of waste every single hour. This is an absolute industrial powerhouse, built to run hard all day long.
You don't just have to take my word for it. The visual proof is, well, it's just stunning. On the left, you've got the problem, that chaotic, wet, sprawling mess. And on the right, you've got the solution: dense, dry, uniform blocks that are a tiny fraction of the original size. The difference is just night and day. So that's the big question, right? What do you actually do with this stuff once it's been squished and dried? Well, for one of their clients, this process turned that expensive problem into a super valuable resource. This dewatered material is now used as fuel for boilers, providing the hot steam they need to run their paper mills. Talk about a perfect closed-loop system.
But what about the money? This is where the story gets kind of crazy. By turning their waste into fuel, the client got a full return on their investment in just 3 months. No, that is not a typo. 90 days. To go from a huge expense to pure profit.
And it doesn't even stop there. After paying for itself, this one machine now generates billions of Vietnamese dong in profit for the company every single month. So think about that. This machine didn't just get rid of a problem, it created a whole new profit center, pretty much out of thin air.
Okay, so you're probably wondering what kind of tech is actually making all of this happen. Let's take a quick peek under the hood and see what makes this machine tick.
Well, at its core, you've got this beefy 37 kilowatt motor built right there in Vietnam. But what I think is really cool is how it's this global machine. The super precise hydraulics, they come from Taiwan. And the critical electronics that control everything, they're sourced from Japan and South Korea. It's this awesome mix of local power and world-class international tech, all wrapped up with safety systems to make sure it runs reliably.
And that, right there, is the big takeaway. This kind of technology proves that one of the biggest headaches in any industry, waste, doesn't have to be a liability. It can actually become an asset. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What other massive problems in our industries are just sitting there waiting for someone to look at them not as waste, but as an opportunity?